Hello, welcome to Nate Flicks. I'm Nate, you're you, and today we are going to be ranking all of the killers that have donned the Ghostface mask in the Scream series. But a few disclaimers right off the bat. One, this is just my list. This is a subjective exercise, but be sure to comment below who your favorite Ghostface are. And then number two, I will not be including the killers from the TV series Scream because I watched the pilot and I was like, no, not for me. And then three, I will be including kill counts for each killer. These statistics come from the Scream Wiki powered by Fandom. So if you have beef with any of these stats, take it up with them. Although, again, if you want to comment below, I'll talk to you about it, especially if you point out some good instances of, it could have been this guy. I'm pretty sure this person was killing them, because you may be onto something, because there are a few times I'm like, I don't know about that, Fandom. But anyways, I digress. Let's go ahead and rank the Ghostface killers. Coming in at number 7, aka last place, is Roman Bridger from Scream 3. Now, Roman has the most kills with 9, but I'm not impressed, dude. You're the only Ghostface who got his own film. You don't have to share the kills with anybody else. You should have the highest number. That don't impress me much. This guy, he is just such a whiny, entitled dork. I didn't like him even before I found out he was Ghostface. I couldn't wait for him to die. I was very dismayed when I found out that he was behind it. And then I found out that he was related to Sydney. And then I found out that, oh hey, you know everything you loved about the first movie? He did all that. He's the mastermind. I was like, screw you, no he's not. And now when I go back and I watch Scream 1, I have to create my own timeline in my head where this didn't go down this way and this isn't canon, because I enjoy Scream 1 that much more when Roman is not the mastermind behind all of it. Say what you will about that. I know that that's a bit of an issue and it affects canon and all that, but I hate Roman and I just love Sidney Prescott all that much more when she interrupted his bad James Bond villain-esque monologue at the end to be like, I'm not having it, bro. You're getting dealt with. At number 6 is Charlie Walker, simply because for me, he's the most forgettable of all the Ghostface killers. And his motive is kind of weak. He's pretty much just an incel. He goes about killing people because he has unrequited love for Kirby Reed, who is not included in his kill count by Fandom. They give this character 3 kills and they do not count Kirby. And you know what? I'm with them. I've already put out a video on why I believe Kirby should be brought back for Scream 5, so be sure to check that out if you haven't. But yeah, Charlie Walker, just kind of meh as a killer. At number 5, I'm going with Miss Loomis, aka Debbie Salt. This character just doesn't really do it for me, and Fandom only credits 1 kill to her, which is weak. You cannot be in the top 3 of a killer list if you only got 1 kill to your name, and that 1 kill was my boy Randy, you bitch. So obviously, I don't like her that much, but also just her look. Call me an ageist, call me a sexist, whatever you like if you're a Miss Loomis fan, but a middle-aged woman with a Mamadou and a pantsuit, that does not make for a horror icon. That is not terrifying. It doesn't work for me. Her motive is pretty solid. You know, she lost her husband to infidelity and then she loses her son and she shares blood with Billy, so I guess the crazy psycho killer thing is just, it's running in the family. But as a whole, yeah, Miss Loomis, when they revealed her, I was like, okay, cool, wait, who are you again? I know I've seen you, I know you're in this movie, but I'm a little blurry. Oh, right, you were the reporter, Debbie Salt. Oh, and you're Billy's mom. All right, that's cool. I guess you got a motive, but yeah, other than that, not for me. At number 4, and it pains me to do this, it's Mickey Altieri, who put up 7 kills, which is a pretty good number. And some of the kills from Scream 2 that are committed by Mickey are relatively impressive and creative and just a lot of fun. They add to the highlights of that film. And Mickey's just a fun character in general, and Timothy Olyphant plays him to zany perfection. He really gives him a flavor that suits the franchise. He's Scream 2's Stu Macher, and like I said, he just lends a whole lot of energy to the film. I love this scene in the film class where Randy's talking about how sequels suck and they're such a bad idea, and Mickey kind of gives himself away as a killer because he really stumps for sequels and tries to point to all of the different strengths that they could put out and how they could improve upon the first, and that's going to be what he's going for. I also like in that scene that Randy kind of screws up. He butchers the alien quote. I know a lot of other channels call this a gaffe by Wes Craven and company, but I kind of like to think that it was intentional because it shows that Randy is not just in the Woodsboro suburbs anymore. He's in this film class and he is out of his league a little bit with his movie knowledge, and he's up against killers who may have him bested. So if you look at it from that angle, I think it's cool, and I just think Mickey is a cool killer in general. Receiving the bronze medal for being Ghostface. Coming in at number 3 is Jill Roberts, who put up 7 kills, which is a pretty strong number, just like Mickey put up. But the distinction here is she killed her own mother, which shows a lot of dedication. And then also, she's the only Ghostface to off another Ghostface killer. She kills Charlie, which is pretty badass. And like I said, she's the first to do it. You have to give that points of some sort. Also, it's just a ton of fun that Jill Roberts is played by Emma Roberts, and Jill Roberts is a character who wants to one day be as famous as her aunt, and it's just probably never going to happen. There's some fun meta nature there. You need meta with Scream, and so that kind of plays into her being here. There's just a lot of good stuff with this character. You know, at first you take her to be this kind of normal suburban girl, kind of a benign character, and then in that final act you're like, oh no, she's crazy, she's unhinged. But watching her maim herself, everything that unfolds in that final act of Scream 4 is just such a good time, and really shows you how invested Jill was and why she is, without a doubt for me, one of the top 3 Ghostface. And then receiving the silver medal, coming in second place with 3 confirmed kills, is Stu Macher. Matthew Lillard's performance of Stu, I think, is one of the most memorable horror performances of all time, because it's so wacky and funny and just original, and he has such a vivacious energy to it that fuels this film every time he's on screen. Fun little slip there. But yeah, Stu, one of my favorite horror characters of all time, just because he's so quotable, and the fact that so many of those quotes and those lines were ad-libs by Matthew Lillard really says a lot about that performance. He's one of the OGs. That counts for a ton with me. That legacy matters. And then also that Stu doesn't really have much of a motive compared to other people in this franchise. You know, he's like peer pressure, and there's something to be said for that. This movie does a lot of homages to Halloween. Michael Myers didn't have a motive, and that's why he was so scary. He's just a boy who picked up a knife one day and had an insatiable bloodlust. He needed to murder. Why? Because he just freaking did, and that's how Stu is. I think those are some of the best villains when you have that motive, so definitely feel good about having Stu here in my top 3. Which obviously by now you know who's left, you know who's getting number 1, who's getting the gold medal. It is Billy Loomis. For me, he is still the OG mastermind of the Ghostface killings, of the Woodsboro slashing. I don't care, I don't need Roman because it already worked. He had plenty of motive when you look at his family being torn apart by Maureen Prescott, and that he has all this know-how from watching so many different horror movies, and that he's just a little bit left of center. He didn't need Roman, you didn't have to involve all that. It's too convoluted, and it works so well the way it was originally done. And let's face it, as much as I love Stu, without Billy at the helm, Stu probably would have been caught in like 10 seconds flat because he's just a little too wacky, a little too out there. So you need this mastermind, and Billy is so great, and you're kind of on to him the entire time. But the way the filmmaking is, they kind of give you some red herrings, they take you astray, you think he gets stabbed and that he's done for, and then he comes back, and he comes back in big fashion, quoting Psycho, letting Sid know why they did this, how they did this. It is an intense scene, but also, I mentioned homages to Halloween. I love the tell that Craven gives us when we first meet Billy Loomis. He comes in through the window, he's sneaking into Sydney's room, and you hear "Don't Fear the Reaper," just as he did when Michael Myers was stalking those girls back in 1978. And it's a fun little way to be like, he's the Reaper, he's the guy, I'm telling you right here. Your minds are gonna be blown still because this is a great mystery, but it's fun to look back at all the moments in this movie where they kind of tell you who's doing what. And then, I know I said Charlie Walker was an incel, and one of Loomis's motives here is lack of sex, but don't give me that. He was a longtime boyfriend with Sydney, and he was getting that sweet, sweet PG-13 action, so it's a little bit different. But there you go, that is my list. That's how I see it. That's how I rank the Ghostface killers from the Scream franchise. Be sure to comment your list below and let me know what you think of this list. I'll be happy to talk about it with you guys down there. But other than that, you guys have a fantastic day. I'm Nate for Nate Flick saying that's a wrap.